Hello guys, today we will be learning how to convert from one unit to another unit, and we will also be converting between the metric system and the customer system, and we will be doing a lot of examples. All right, so hold on tight. So our first vocabulary for today is called dimensional analysis or unit analysis. Whenever we are converting from one unit to the next, that is called dimensional analysis. Also, whenever we need to convert from one unit to the next, we use something that is called a conversion factor. An example of a conversion factor is this one right here. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, and we have many more. And for those, we will be using the reference sheet right here, where it has a lot of different conversion factors within the metric system and also the customary system. All right. So whenever we are using a conversion factor, it's like we are converting by one. We are multiplying by one. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches is actually 12 inches over 12 inches or one. That's what this means. All right, so now one of the very technique, so not to get confused with dimensional analysis, is that you want to put the units you are converting to in the numerator and the units you are converting from in the denominator. When we do some examples, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so here is an example. Here we have to convert um, 63 feet to yards. So first thing you want to do is to go ahead. I'm actually going to write on this. So first thing you want to, let me switch to pen. Alright, so first thing we're going to do here is to look for our conversion factor. Now we are going from, alright, so here we are going from feet to yards. So first thing we need to do is to go and look for the conversion factor here. Says feet and yard, they are both in the customer system, so we are going to go up here. So here we have 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So first thing we want to do is to go ahead and write that down. So we write down a conversion factor that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Now that we know our conversion factor, so now we are going to start with the 63 feet. So we'll do 63. Always put your units. I know how much you guys do not like to write your unit. Go ahead and put that over 1, so we can go ahead and write it as a fraction, times, and then we're going to draw a line. Now, how are we going to write our conversion factors? Remember in the previous slide, I said that we want to make sure of what happened. So remember with fractions, when we have 2/3 times, let's say 1/2, the twos cancel each other out. So the same thing is true for the units. So if I want to go to yard, I want to put yard on top. So my 1 yard will go on top and 3 feet will go at the bottom. Now, why did I put 3 feet at the bottom? Because of the scenario, because we are dealing with a fraction, so that these two units can cancel each other out. I do not want feet, so that means we are going to get rid of the feet, so I need to put it at the bottom. So now I'm left with 63 times 1 yard, which is 63, and then 1 times 3 is 3. And then from there, we just go ahead and simplify this. So if we to go ahead and do 63 divided by 3, all right, we'll get 21. So that will be 21 yards. Okay, so clearly here we could see that we divide, but just so we can start getting into the habit of writing things using dimensional analysis when it's not so easy. All right, let's move on. Let's do another example. All right, so here we need to go ahead and do 8 pounds 2 ounces. I'm going to put up the reference sheet, and then you guys find the conversion factor and you guys convert 8 pounds to ounces. All right, so pause, come back and get the answer. All right, so here is the reference sheet. Go ahead and find, remember we're going from pound to ounces, and here it is right here. In 1 pound we have 16 ounces. So go ahead and use that information to do the conversion. Okay, all right, so I'm going to write so first thing we need to do is to write down a conversion factor that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Now we want to start with 8 pounds over 1 times. Now, where are we going to put 1 pound, top or bottom? Good, we need to put it at the bottom because that's the unit that we want to cancel out. And then we put 16 ounce on top. So the pounds cancel each other out, and we are left with 8 times 16. And that would be 128 ounces. Now, 1 times 1 is 1, so you really do not need to put the 1 at the bottom. Alright? So, hopefully you got that one right. Let's move on to more complicated ones. Alright? So, here we have a problem. We have a car travel 60 miles on a road in 2 hours. How many feet per second was the car traveling? If you guys notice here, it is no longer going from miles to feet only. If you notice, I have miles and hours, and I have to convert the whole thing to feet per second. Now, really, there's really no need to freak out. All we need to do now is find our conversion factor for going to miles to feet. So let's go to the reference sheet. Alright, so we were going from miles to feet, and here it is right here. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So let's go back and write it down. So, and then another thing that we have to worry about is the hours. So we need to go from hours to seconds. Now, we all should know this by now that 1 hour is equal to 3,600 seconds. So, now we need to set up the ratio. So we have 60 miles in 2 hours. Please write your unit. So we have 60 miles into hours. So this is my ratio right here. Times. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the miles to feet. So, since I need to get rid of mile, I'm going to put 1 mile at the bottom and then 5,280 280 feet on top. Alright, so now the miles cancel each other out. Now, the next thing we need to get rid of is this hour. Remember, we need it in second. So, times. Now, this time hours is at the bottom. So, which means if I need to get rid of it, I need to put in the conversion factor, I need to put 1 hour on top. And 33600 will be at the bottom, seconds. So now clearly the hours cancel each other out. So now if we look at my units that I have left, I have only feet per second, which was what the question was asking me to do. Now all we have to do is to multiply the numerators and then multiply the numerators and then divide at the end. So here we have 60 times 5280. Let's grab a cal. So here we have 50. So we get 316,800. And we are going to divide that by, then we do 2 times 3600, which is 72, 7,200. Again, this is feet. This is second. Please remember your unit. Now we can go ahead and divide those two. And we get 44 feet, oops, per second. Alright, so it's not that complicated once you have cancel out all your units. Again, we want to put them diagonally so we can cancel the units that we do not want out. Alright, so that would be your final answer here. Okay, so here is another example where we have to go from feet to centimeters. As we all know, feet is customary units and centimeters, that one is in the metric system. So here we are going between systems. So again, we are going from feet to centimeters. Now, sometimes we have to do more than one conversion before we get there. All right, so here let's try to go from feet to centimeters. Let's go to the reference sheet. So here says I'm going from between units, so I need to look down here. So I need to find feet to centimeters. Okay, so here it is. I'm going from the customary to the metric system. So here I have 1 foot is equal to 305 meters. But there's nothing here that tell me foot to centimeters. But I know if I can convert 1 foot to meters, then I can change meters back to centimeters, right? Remember that? And so one thing we need to remember is that in 1 meter, we have 100 centimeters when we have to go back. All right, so let's write that down. So we have, so let's write. So here we have 1 foot is equal to meters. Remember, we do not have it in centimeters, but we know I can go from 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So that one is not as easy as the very first ones that we did. So let's go ahead and change this one. So here we have 6 feet times, again, I need to convert feet to meters first. So I'm going to put 1 foot at the bottom so I can get rid of that unit, and 0 point meters on top times, remember my question was centimeters, so now I need to convert meters to centimeters. So since I need to get rid of the meters, so we're gonna put 1 meter at the bottom, cancel, and 100 centimeters on top. So now the only unit that I have left is centimeters, and then here we just go ahead and multiply everything. So 100 times 6 is 600, and then times 0.305. So let's do that. And that'll be 183 centimeters. Okay, and that's it. I hope I didn't scare you guys with these. Um, they're not as complicated if you practice them this way. It's very quick and easy by canceling out the units. All right, so we'll do more practice in class. I'll see you guys then. Bye bye.